not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Well, that pretty much sounds like trash. If you want fans, if you want your league to grow, act like a professional, okay? The league already started underwater, and instead of fixing it, they're just poking more holes in the boat. And think about it, Brittney Griner talking all that trash. We traded the merchant of death for your ass, and you're out there talking.
Patrick Bet David's co-host, Vincent Oshana, torched Brittney Griner over her racially charged comments about Caitlin Clark. And the clip is going viral for a reason. This wasn't just a mild critique. Oshana and the PBD team went straight at the heart of the issue, calling out Griner's behavior for what it was: divisive, hypocritical, and completely out of line. They didn't hold back. And frankly, someone needed to say it. For years, people have danced around the truth to avoid backlash. But this takedown echoed what millions of fans were already thinking. If Griner is going to throw racial accusations at the player who's doing more for the WNBA than anyone in one history, then don't be surprised when the public finally pushes back. And yes, the bigger question has resurfaced. One that stings even more now. Did we really trade the merchant of death for someone who's using her second chance? At freedom to throw racial insults at America's most beloved basketball star, it's a harsh question, but a fair one. When your freedom came at that price, the least you could offer is respect for the game, gratitude for the fans, and maybe a little humility. Instead, Griner chose to attack the very momentum the WNBA desperately needs to survive.
If you want fans, if you want your league to grow, act like a professional, okay? The league already started underwater, and instead of fixing it, they're just poking more holes in the boat. And think about it, Brittney Griner talking all that trash. We traded the merchant of death for your ass, and you're out there talking.
Vincent Oshana from the Patrick Bet David podcast just delivered the verbal beatdown that Brittney Griner absolutely earned. And honestly, it's long overdue. Finally, someone with a platform had the guts to say what millions of Americans are already thinking. The PBD crew didn't tiptoe around it. They took direct aim at Griner's racially charged jab at Caitlin Clark and delivered the reality check this entire situation desperately needed. Let's break this down, because this goes far beyond one incident. This is about the moral collapse of the WNBA and how the league has allowed a toxic culture to fester. One where attacking your own biggest star isn't just tolerated, it's practically encouraged. It all started when Griner fouled out of a game against Clark's Indiana Fever. As she walked off the court, cameras appeared to catch her calling Clark trash and saying white girl in a clearly derogatory tone. Now let's be crystal clear about something. If Caitlin Clark had said anything even remotely similar about a black player, her career would be over instantly. She'd be suspended, fined, dragged through the media, shoved into sensitivity training, and forced to issue apology after apology just to keep playing. But Griner hurls a racial slur at Clark, total silence from the WNBA. Not a word from the league. Office. No fines, no statement, no consequences. The double standard is so obvious, it's an insult to anyone with a functioning brain. The league that claims to stand for equality and inclusion is actively ignoring a blatant act of racism, all because it doesn't fit their narrative. This isn't just a PR failure. It's proof that the WNBA has lost its moral compass. And now, instead of rallying behind the one player, finally putting butts in seats and dollars in bank accounts, the league is standing by as she gets attacked for the crime of being successful. The silence is deafening. The hypocrisy is undeniable. And thanks to voices like Vincent Oshana and PBD, the truth is finally getting the spotlight it deserves.
With Brittney Griner, right? And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam. Put the quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose.
This is where Vincent Oshana stepped in and said exactly what needed to be said. During the podcast discussion, Oshana didn't just criticize Brittney Griner. He obliterated the hypocrisy at the heart of her comments and exposed the backwards priorities of the WNBA as a whole. He laid it out plainly. The situation is insane. You've got a player who was literally traded for a convicted Russian arms dealer, the Merchant of Death, in one of the most high-stakes international negotiations in years. And what does she do with that second chance at freedom? She turns around and makes racially charged remarks about the only player who's actually making the league relevant. Instead of showing gratitude, instead of helping elevate the sport, Griner chose to tear down the one person who's single-handedly boosting ratings, selling tickets, and bringing in a whole new generation of fans. Oshana called it what it is: insanity. And finally, someone had the courage to say it out loud.
Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score. Like we're...
Oshana's takedown was surgical, precise, devastating, and impossible to ignore. He called out Brittney Griner and players like Angel Reese for walking around like the league owes them something. Despite being millionaires playing the game, they love. The level of entitlement on display is staggering. These athletes are living out their dreams, cashing checks, and benefiting from a league that's finally gaining traction. Yet they're acting like victims simply because the most talented and impactful player in the league right now happens to be white. Instead of welcoming that momentum, they're trying to tear it down. Instead of showing gratitude, they're playing identity politics. And instead of lifting up the WNBA, they're dragging it right back into irrelevance. Oshana didn't mince words, and he was right not to. The truth needed to be said. And now that it's out there, the league can't keep hiding behind silence and double standards.
Are you
I act like this.
Okay,
Rob,
You're
can you
joking.
verify that this is what she said on the mom and pop WNBA model? That she's sick of the and then she says the whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly.
The Patrick Bet-David team also called out something that mainstream media won't touch: the complete failure of Caitlin Clark's misguided bend the knee strategy. Remember when Clark made those cringe-worthy comments about white privilege and how she needed to elevate black women? Oshana and the PBD crew nailed it. That was the moment a lot of people lost respect for her. And they're absolutely right. Clark didn't need to apologize for her success. She didn't need to explain it away with identity politics. Her rise wasn't built on privilege. It was built on talent, work ethic, and once-in-a-generation skill. But instead of standing strong, she tried to appease the very players and media voices who were tearing her down. And what did it earn her? Nothing. No respect, no protection, no support when the attacks kept coming. In fact, it only made her a bigger target. Oshana and the PBD team exposed that hard truth. In today's cultural climate, apologizing for excellence doesn't earn you grace. It just feeds the resentment.
WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what are you talking about? It's attitude, it's no humility, just entitlement, and that's not confidence.
Vincent Oshana and the Patrick Bet-David team just delivered the takedown America was waiting for. Brittney Griner's racist swipe at Caitlin Clark was disgusting. But what made it worse? The WNBA's complete silence, proving once again that double standards and identity politics run deeper than actual basketball. Let's be clear, this wasn't some offhand comment taken out of context. Griner fouled out, walked off the court, and was caught calling Clark trash and slapping her with a racial label. If the roles were reversed, if Clark had said something even remotely close about a black player, her career would be over. Full stop. Suspension, fines, media outrage, league statements, national protests. The works. But because it came from Brittney Griner, and because Caitlin Clark is white, the league suddenly has nothing to say. A complete silence from Commissioner Engelbert. No investigation, no press release, nothing. That's why Oshana's rant hit so hard. He said what everyone's been thinking. We traded the Merchant of Death for this? A player who should be grateful just to be on the court, now launching racist attacks against the one person saving the league from irrelevance. And let's not forget, Caitlin Clark bent over backwards, trying to win approval. She talked about white privilege. She said she wanted to elevate black women. She tried to play the politically correct game, and it blew up in her face. Instead of respect, she got humiliation. Instead of solidarity, she got attacked. Players like Griner and Reese didn't see humility. They saw weakness. They pounced. And the WNBA? They just let it happen. That's the real problem. The league has absolutely no idea how to handle success. They've spent 25 years bleeding money and blaming everyone else. Now, they finally have a generational talent bringing in fans, boosting ratings, selling out arenas. And instead of protecting her, they're throwing her to the wolves. And the results speak for themselves. With Clark injured and missing games, ticket prices are tanking, ratings are falling, social media buzz is disappearing. The WNBA is about to get a painful reminder of just how much it depends on the very player its stars resent the most. Meanwhile, Griner, who's been in the league for over a decade without moving the needle, acts like she's owed something. She's not. She's never generated the kind of excitement, interest, or revenue that Clark has sparked in just one season. And yet somehow, she's the one throwing insults. The PBD team exposed exactly what's wrong here. This isn't just bad behavior. It's cultural rot. A league that attacks its star. A league that prioritizes woke narratives over results. A league more interested in protecting feelings than growing the game. Let's be real. LeBron doesn't trash Steph Curry. Mahomes doesn't attack Josh Allen. Because in real leagues, everyone understands that stars drive the business. But in Darwin, the WNBA, it's a zero-sum mindset. If Clark wins, they think they lose. That's not maturity. That's insecurity. The biggest irony? Griner only has this platform because the US government traded a convicted arms dealer to bring her home. And now she's using that freedom to make racist attacks against her own league's golden goose? That's not just ungrateful. It's insulting. And the WNBA's silence proves it. They're more afraid of offending the wrong narrative than protecting their most valuable player. Oshana's final point couldn't be more true. The WNBA doesn't just have a marketing problem, it has a moral one. A league that turns a blind eye to racism when it fits the narrative. A league that punishes excellence when it doesn't come in the right packaging. And that's exactly why the PBD, Crew's takedown, resonated so deeply. They weren't just defending Caitlin Clark. They were defending basic fairness, common sense, and the right to succeed without being torn down for who you are. So what's your take? Drop your thoughts below. Smash that like button if you're tired of the double standards. And subscribe for more unfiltered truth.